Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday morning. Happy Monday, guys. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for you guys. So, guys, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to talk to you guys today about confidence as well as changing the course, two different topics. So, I want to start off by saying this. Confidence is definitely one of those topics, like top 5, that you guys asked me to touch on. Now, I have several, and I stress several recordings already on confidence because, again, it is one of those popular topics. But I do know I have a lot of people here, so I figure a lot of people who's new here, I should say. So I figure I would just go ahead and do an updated recording on confidence. In fact, I've been feeling a nudge to do so for a couple of weeks. And then on yesterday, in our meeting with Pastor R.C. Blake's Mordecai Mission, ironically, he touched on confidence. So I was like, okay, I feel even more of a nudge here to do so. And I got a lot of new revelation for myself as well within that conference. So, all right, so let's start with confidence. So here's the thing, guys. before I start, I want to say this, that so many of you here, but more than anything in my personal life, are just complete strangers, think like I am this walking billboard of confidence. Truly. Like, I mean, I get stopped every day about my walk, about this, about that. And in fact, a couple of years ago, a gentleman has stopped me. He was an older guy. He stopped me in the grocery store, and he was telling me about my walk, my confidence, right? So I was just telling him how I've heard that all of my life. I even have a recording here on YouTube where a lot of my middle school friends had done like this testimonial recording about me, and they just kept talking about, of course, my heart of gold, right? But they kept talking about my confidence. And I'm thinking to myself, so y'all telling me y'all saw something in middle school? So now you see why, my chosen ones, you were hated on, disliked, or misunderstood? Because see, that light was already on you. We didn't know it. We couldn't see it. So anyway, this gentleman, he was an older guy, maybe in his 60s. And I remember he said to me, he said, well, if you can't see it, let me give you some a word of advice, some wisdom. He said, have someone record you while you're walking. So I took him up on that. So like 2 days later, I had my best friend to record me. And when I sat back and I looked at the recording, I was like, wow, it's crazy on how you yourself can even feel what other people see most of the times. So that you have someone record you. It may not be your walk, but whatever people are constantly telling you about yourself, if you don't feel it, have someone to record you doing it and go back and look at it. It's going to blow your mind. So I say all that to say, you guys know I'm authentic. I'm a realist. So I will be honest to say, no, I'm not someone who lacks confidence, or I don't have low self-esteem per se. But it's important to understand that I am a woman. Not only am I a woman, I'm a fleshly human being. I personally don't believe and I know some bad chicks, some handsome guys. And I can honestly say, I don't know anyone who does not deal with confidence and insecurities at times. Let me be clear, at times. So yes, ultimately, I consider myself to be a confident person, but I have my days. If I'm moving in purpose and calling and in spirit, yes. Even when I'm speaking to you guys, I guess that's why I come across so strong or confident or whatever, because I'm moving in spirit. I'm speaking in spirit, right? If I'm speaking all in flesh, you will hear myself stumbling over my own words, questioning certain things and wanting to go back and delete recordings. I told you guys that a lot of times I do not listen back to my recordings because once I'm back in flesh, I want to delete it. I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. I feel like I'm just fussing. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. And God is like, you better not remove it. Period. Don't remove it. So I struggle there. There are some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, your girl is bad. And then there's some days I look in the mirror like, okay, this ain't it. Today I'm feeling like a Teletubby, right? Female, you feel me, right? So no, I'm not walking in confidence 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but never, ever have Or will I ever allow a lack of confidence on a certain day to defeat me taking a step out on faith or something that I really want to do, or that I feel, most importantly, if God is asking me to do it? I don't care how I'm feeling that day. If I hear the Spirit telling me to move, I move. I move. I push self aside. I move. Because you will never not feel afraid, ever. You have to step into it. You got to step into it while you are afraid. And then again, grace will kick in and so on. All right, enough of that. So it is so important, guys. If you have children, I don't have children, but I did it to my niece and my best friend who have majority of girls, and one boy as well. And then my younger brother and my nephews. I did it to all of them. Pour into children. And my God, just think about if we had people to pour into us when we were extremely young. And some of us had, some of you guys had. Pour into them very, very early on. And when I speak about pour into them, I don't mean the physical, you're beautiful. I mean, do that too now, but you're beautiful, you're this and you're that. That too, yes. I'm speaking more about you can be anything you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. Anything. You don't have to follow the crowd, because truth of the matter is, many times the crowds are following the crowd. So march to the beat of your own drum. If you feel that, big if, because we know the majority of people are normal. Normal is not a bad thing at all. Half of us wish we could be normal, my chosen one. So when I speak about normal, I speak about the chosen one, because some people who are normal or others who have small minds tend to think that when I say chosen, they're being left out. Chosen just means you're unique for your own purpose and your calling. Not your own purpose and calling, but you're unique. You're cut from a different cloth. That can be anybody, a visionary impact. If you're not normal, you're chosen. Or if you're normal, you are chosen. Did you answer the call? So please stop emailing me because you feel left out, or you feel like I am selecting a group of people to call them the chosen ones. We all are here. We all are chosen. Everybody don't answer the call. So if you feel you are chosen, please tap in. Please tap in. Please. Stop harassing my nerves. Ooh, I lost my train of thought here. What was I talking about, guys? I truly lost my train of thought here. But either which way, pour into them. Just let them know that they can be whatever. Have you guys ever heard about the water boys in Atlanta? Like, it's this group of guys, young boys. I don't know their age range. I think maybe I'm guesstimating maybe 8 to 15. And they're getting this bad rep from a lot of people because what they do is they buy cases of water, and then they sit at the red lights and things like that. And when someone gets to the red light, they sell the water for, I think, $1 or $2 or something like that. And a lot of people were just saying they get upset when you don't buy the water, or they're just pounding on the windows. So they were getting a lot of bad rep from some, and then some really, really admire what they do. All right, fast forward, Kizzy. So last month, I keep hearing about these guys. I kind of drove to Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, and I found 2 of them. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my God, I got to meet some of the water boys, because there's a lot of them. But 2 of them came to my window. I would say the 2 that I met was probably 12, 13-ish, both of them. And so I bought the 2 waters, right? Well, I asked for the 2 waters they gave me. And these 2 were very, very nice, actually. they were really nice. So I gave them, actually I didn't give them any money yet, right? So I had owed them $4. I got 2 of the waters. And so my spirit was pinging for me to pour into them about confidence and things like that. Because, a lot of times our boys are told, you can be a rapper, you can be NFL. Cool. But there's more to that. Be what you want to be. You can be the president. You can be whatever. not just an NFL, not just a rapper, whatever you want to be. So ironically, God had it set that my light was just long for whatever reason, right? And I didn't have any cars behind me. So I sat there and I talked to those guys for about 10 minutes, telling them this very same thing. I was like, listen, I'm so proud of you guys. Like, this is a hustle. This is a hustle, right? So understand that the only hustle is not dope. The only hustle is not illegal things. But because you guys are already hustling at this age, that tells me you have that grind. You have that drive within you. So any single thing you want to do, whatever you feel internally that you want to do, it will require the same time, and so on. You guys get the point. But here's the thing. As I was speaking in spirit, which I always do, I didn't even realize that these boys had already put their little sack of water down, and both of them, and of course we have masks on, but both of them had their little elbows. They were so cute. They had their little elbows in my, and I have a big truck. So they had already stood up on the running boards and they had their little elbows in the window, but they were just staring at me. But the look, now of course I didn't feel it then, because again, when you move in spirit, you're not even, but the look that they were giving me was they wanted more. They never heard that, what I was saying to them. They only heard hustle, NFL, this, that, but not follow that voice that you hear. Most people won't even understand it. But people don't even understand themselves. So don't worry about them. You follow that voice. And they just kept looking at me. Right? And I know some of the guys are probably thinking like, listen, them boys are flirting. They're little boys. Little boys are hot in their behind. So I'm sure it may have started off that way, just like with adult men. It starts off lustfully, but when you tap into their spirit, they can't even leave you. They wouldn't even leave. The light was changing. Now I'm trying to get them off of the running board. But I gave each one of them $100 bill. And then I explained to them the reason why I blessed you with this money was because you weren't disrespectful. You wasn't like, man, I don't want to hear this stuff. I just want, the hustle. I just want money. So I'm showing you what patience can get you. I'm showing you what respect can earn you. But more importantly, those words, you can tell, meant way more to them than the money did. And of course, they lost their mind with money. They just, but my point is, even if you don't have children, if you have access to children in any way, you let them know whatever they're feeling, that internal voice, follow that, and let them know that most people won't even understand it, but they're going to have to be okay with being different. That wasn't even in my notes, so I don't know. Maybe somebody needed that. I think somebody needed that. All right, so let me get back to my notes here. Okay, so here's the thing. Again, as I was saying earlier, confidence is internal. It's not external. Again, you can't put it on. You cannot put it on. And so this is why some of you, even as adults, you are in professions and you are living this life of, well, my mother or my father said, I had to go on with the family business and I needed to be a doctor because everybody in my family is only a lawyer or a doctor. And, you got to do it this way. And this is why some of you are very successful in your careers, but you have a whole huge hole in your spirit. You are not confident, because that is not your lane. You only follow, and this is no knock on this now, right? Because you probably didn't know any better. You just did whatever it is that your parents told you to do, and now you are literally struggling as an adult, with confidence because you just do not feel like you are in your lane. So again, confidence is internal, not external. Again, my chosen ones, my visionaries, anybody who's chosen, anybody. When you were very young and you felt different, right? Me, because I am a visionary, I saw glimpses of it. I saw glimpses of what God had for me, destiny wise. Very small glimpses, because I was very young. Very small glimpses. So some of you, if you didn't feel the see the glimpses, because you're not a visionary. You felt something. Either you felt a nudge to follow something, or you just felt different, and you knew it was more. You just knew that your surroundings was just not it. I mean, you're there, of course, you're a child, so you're just in the environment, but you just knew that there was something more. There was a light, there was a something. And I want that something, right? So I know a lot of my meek, my shy individuals, you probably kind of just sunk in and just kind of just went with the normal group because, you didn't really want that attention on yourself. To be somebody like me, and some of you who are just like the different ones, the ones like, listen, I don't care what you think, I'm going to march to the beat of my own drums. Y'all better get over here and follow this drum beat because y'all are normal ones. So I know some of my very quiet, meek individual, you kind of just went along with, societal norms and all that good stuff. And now you're lost in the sauce. I meet so many adults who are honest enough with themselves to say, I was too afraid to follow that voice. And so now I'm an adult, and even though I'm successful, or even though I'm this and I'm that, I'm kind of lost in the sauce and I can't find my way out. I've had so many conversations like that. So many conversations like that. I was having a conversation with a friend of a family member, somebody. So she was asking me, I was trying to explain to her rather, the feeling of what I felt. And this was maybe about 10 years ago. The feeling of what I felt, meaning there's more, but I can't verbalize what that more is because there's just no words for it. It's a feeling. And I remember her saying, I don't understand. And mind you, now this is the person who was very, 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 very close-minded. And this is why you have to be very careful about sharing your vision with people, because people won't get it. And if you're not careful, if you're not strong, if you're not committed and determined, they can sway your mind. This is why you have to be a leader. And so she said to me, she was like, well, I just don't understand. So what is it that you feel that's more? And I just don't get it. And then I said to her, because I felt like the conversation was just starting to get on my nerves. So I was like, listen, I can't tell you what it is in words. It's just a feeling. It's more. God has more for you. You just know that your current surrounding is not it. And then she said to me, I just think that's sad. And I had a petty moment, right? I said, girl, do you know what I think is sad? That your mind is that small that you really believe every single person in the world has the mindset of what society says the American dream is, which is you get married and have children by 25, 30, you get the white picket fence and the dog, and you stay in a miserable marriage because, I won't say that. You stay in a miserable marriage and then you retire and you die. Now, if that's you, please know that is normal for most. I'm saying it's sad that even normal people can't expand their mindset to understand that that is not the life that God has chosen for everybody. Some people get married at 70 after completing purposes in calling and assignment. Some people never get married. Some people never have children. Some people have 25 children and their purpose and their calling is being a mom. Some people adopt children and they have a whole house full of, we all have different purposes, calling and assignment. And guess where that person is now? very unhappy, very miserable, because she followed societal norms. Okay. So I have to throw that in there because it just popped up in my mind. So I say that to those of you who are struggling because you are telling people, sometimes even your own spouse, that they're not connected. That's not your kingdom partner or your king. They're not even going to get it. Whatever God has planted within you, that feeling, that vision, that whatever, glimpses of destiny, no one else is going to get it. That's why it was shown to you. If you are not very firm and planted in your confidence and knowing that you're going to get this thing regardless of whoever falls off, whoever agrees, just be quiet. Please, because people are going to get in your head and say, "Girl, oh my goodness, no one ever done that. Do you think you can do that? You're too old to do that. You're too this, and no one else have ever done that in the family, and no one has." Listen, and if you're not planted, you are going to sway with what they're saying, because you're going to already be insecure about your decision anyway, because you're not planted. But when you're planted and you know what God has said to you, I've had people say things to me, and I don't even share like my visions and stuff like that. I think I may have done that one or twice in my life, and I learned very early. But I can remember them saying things to me, but it will literally just like roll off of my skin like oil. I never allowed it to plant into my spirit because I know what God had said. I knew what I felt. I heard their words, but I respected, because I believe truly they were giving their opinion, but it was only based on their limited thinking. You see what I'm saying? God gives it to you for a reason. You can be around 1,000 people per day. Listen to the voices coming to you. Follow that. Follow that maze. Follow that. It's almost like a puzzle. Bits and pieces. Follow it. Just follow it. You don't have to tell anybody. Follow it. I pause because I wanted you to get that. Do you want to know what true confidence comes from? When you discover that thing, your lane, your purpose, your assignment, whatever you want to call it, when you discover that and you tap into that, and I mean tap into it, and tapping into it ain't gonna just be that's just not one time. Now you got to work against that thing. You got to polish it, and you got to do it over and over and over, but you do not leave that lane. That's where your confidence is, because think about it. God gave you a purpose. Only you. Nobody can do that thing like you. Even if, let's just say you're a singer, a gospel singer. I'm just use that. Well, of course, you got many gospel singers around the world. But your swag, your spirit, your stuff, right, is in your lane. I'm sorry, guys. I got my door open, and I think that's the recycle guys outside. If you guys hear all that noise, I'm sorry. You do that thing the way only you can do it. It's your lane. So when you tap into that thing, you master that thing. So your only competition is your prior self. People lose themselves when they start comparing themselves to a person. You don't compete against people. I don't care who looks better, it doesn't matter. You don't compare yourself to people. That's where you lose your confidence. That's why a lot of people struggle with confidence, because they're comparing themselves with a family member who may have gotten married before them, a best friend, a coworker. Don't compare yourself with people. We all have a lane. Tap into your lane. And that's still not to say, just because it's purpose, that you won't be fearful. Again, many things, if not all, that God has required you to do is going to be fearful. That's the whole purpose. You're going to need him. I can't tell you guys how many times I walk on stage. If I'm speaking, I'm talking about, listen, a whole 3 days of having to prep. a whole hour of probably having to just get completely filled in the spirit, completely, knees shaking as I walk up the steps, hand trembling and sweating even as I take the mic. But the minute I open my mouth, the first couple of words, first sentence, boom, grace sweeps in. And now I don't even know what I'm saying. But now when I'm putting this mic down, all I hear is these people clapping and all this, and I'm just like, I don't know what what y'all clapping about. So regardless if God has required and called you to do it, you are still going to be afraid. If God has called you to put out an album, a gospel album, if God has required you to write a book, if God has required you to start a business, I don't care what it is, you're going to be afraid. So stop waiting for the fear to leave. It will never leave. Some of you guys are still sitting on something because you're waiting for the right time. You're waiting for that fear to dissipate. It ain't gonna never dissipate. You gotta step into it. Like Pastor Blake said yesterday, you have to step into it afraid, and then instantly grace will take over. And before you know it, the more and more you do it, like now, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't have my days if I have to speak or whatever. But now, because I have spoken in front of thousands, thank you, Key Sweat. Now that I've spoken in front of thousands and got past that, now it's like, okay, I know I have to prep. Okay, I know I gotta prep. I know I'm still gonna be nervous, but it's not as bad. So the more and more you do it, you perfect that area. And that alone, that's going to build your confidence, because nobody can do that thing like you. That's your thing. That's your thing. All right, so master that. Again, your only competition is your prior self, not an individual, period. And again, insecurities are going to sneak. Insecurities will still creep in. You're human. Flesh get mixing with spirit all the time. All right, change the course. So to those of you, like I was talking about earlier in the recording, if you felt like you went the wrong direction because you were pretty much swaying that direction because of family or just following societal norms, and you're feeling that feeling of unfulfillment, please, all caps, please know that it is not too late for you to change the course. That is a lie from the pits of hell. So many people are stuck because they feel like, oh, I'm 50 now, and I'm 60 now, I'm 70. You get your 85-year-old self up and do what you want to do. Yes, it may take you more time to do it. Yes, things may not come to you as quick as it would if you had been 20. But just do it. Do it. The worst thing in life you're going to want to do is when you're in that rocking chair at that assisted living home or at your home, and you are 100 years, no, we're going to say 120. We're going to claim that, right? You're 120 years old, and the only thoughts you got to yourself are regrets. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I follow that voice? Why didn't I such and such? What? That will be one of the most miserable times of your life. So please, if you're feeling convicted, start the process of changing the course. Please be sure that you are hearing from God, right? So I'm not just not saying, okay, just go and leave your job and start chasing his voice. I'm not saying that. So make sure you're hearing from God first. In fact, truth of the matter is, a lot of people are losing their jobs now. It's not punishment, but many people are being pushed into purpose. Pushed into purpose. So if you're feeling that nudge, and again, you struggle all your life with feeling like, yes, you're successful, but you're unhappy because, you didn't follow that voice. That was not the course. You did it because whatever reason, maybe your parents told you, maybe you were more insecure and you just wanted to kind of follow societal norms, and you are now feeling like this is not it. I'm divorced now, the children are grown, or I've never been married, and whatever your thing is, whatever's playing in your head, I always wanted to write that book so my children can understand truly what I've been through and why I didn't raise them properly. They never even knew why. But I want to write a book just to leave for whatever that nudge is. Whatever that nudge is. Do you want to adopt a child? Do you want to start a bakery? Whatever that nudge is. You want to make jewelry. You want to start a candle company. Whatever that nudge is. You want to travel the world with a backpack. Whatever that nudge is. You want to become a housekeeper. You want to start your own business becoming a housekeeper because you love to clean. You want to become a cross guard because you love children and never had any, but you love whatever that nudge is not too big. It's not too small. Whatever it is for you, that's what will complete you. A marriage should be an addition, not a completion. Make sure you are aligned. If you're one of the ones, so many of you who are so frustrated because you're waiting on your kingdom spouses and your kingdom partners, please be walking in your purpose when they find you. So, I hope this helps someone. You guys comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, any topics you would like for me to address, hit your girl up. rockkizzy18@gmail.com. So, guys, I know you were probably saying in here, girl, okay, I'm about to go anyway. So, you guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.